How's it going, everybody? Doing a game collection video here today in this format. I'm going to be not on camera, obviously, showing these games. This is my Super Nintendo and Super Famicom collection. There might be one or two different games in here than there was the last time I did, but this is a test, and I just want to kind of see how you guys like it and stuff like that. But I'm going to start off with the Super Nintendo ones first. Got a Scooby-Doo mystery here. Cool game. It's not as good as the Genesis one. The Genesis was like a platformer. Not a platformer, sorry. This is the platformer. The Genesis one was like a point-and-click game, which was really cool. It's a bit pricey, though. This one is not. But you use Scoob and Shag, and you're going around different levels, and you gotta collect clues that you bring to Velma, and you find Fred and Daphne as well. It's cool. It does look nice. It's a decent game, but the Genesis one's a lot better. Scooby-Doo works almost perfectly in the point-and-click game setup. Tiny Toons, Buster Busts Loose. This one's cool too. Looks really nice. I got this one for my fiance because she liked the other ones. She has the two on the Nintendo, and we have one for the Genesis as well. If you've ever seen the cartoon, you'd know these characters. That's Buster and Babs Bunny, and there's others as well. Cool game. It's a bit hard. The one on the Genesis is a little better. That one's called like Buster's Hidden Treasure or something, but it looks really nice, and the controls are alright, but they're not as good as the Genesis one. The Genesis seems to have the better versions of games. Wario's Woods is a beefed up version of the NES game. It's pretty cool. I'm not super into it. My fiance loves it and has played it like crazy and is really good at it. I am not that good at it, but you have to like pick up you gotta like line up these enemy type things and break them down before like the tree kind of comes crushing down on you. And then the dude comes, I forget who it is, and he'll speed it up, and then Mario's like knocking a thing. It's pretty cool though. NBA Live 95, really cool basketball game. This is the first in the Live series. It went from Lakers vs. Celtics, and Bulls vs. Lakers, Bulls vs. Blazers, NBA Showdown, and then to this one. This has the different on-angle view, as opposed to the side-to-side view. It's cool though. You got season mode and all that stuff. It looks nice. It plays pretty good. Still holds up somewhat decently. It doesn't hold up as good as the other ones do, though. I keep nudging the tripod. Super Tennis, fabulous sports game. Just a super fun to play tennis game. It's fun. You can play on clay, grass, or I don't forget what the third one's called, the third court. And you can play doubles if you want. It's fun. It's the sequel to tennis that came out on the original Nintendo. And it still looks nice. They use a little of the Mode 7 stuff in this game as well. Some of the games used it, but not all of them. Star Wars, Super Star Wars, Return of the Jedi. These games are really cool. They have great animation. They look nice. They are all hard. In this one, you could use Luke, Han, Chewie, Leia, I believe. I don't know if it's just those four, or you can use anybody. I don't know if you can use Lando. I can't remember. There's also some flying missions in there as well. It's pretty cool. It's tough, but it's a really nice looking game. These are fun games though, and you can just put in cheat codes and go to different levels if you're getting your ass kicked and you just want to see the game. What is this? Wizardry 5, Heart of the Maelstrom. I didn't play much of this. I picked it up at the game store and when the trading post, video game trading post, was in Sunrise Mall still. It was like $5. It is a role-playing game and it's in the vein of like Shining in the Darkness and stuff. The look of it, the view you get. I honestly didn't play much of it though. It's supposed to be decent. Super WrestleMania. Pretty cool game. I've had trouble getting this one to work on the Retron. But you can choose between certain wrestlers. It's not as good as Royal Rumble. I forget the modes that are in this one. I think there might be a steel cage match in this one. There's like tag team, singles. You got there? Macho Man, Jake Roberts, obviously Hogan. Looks like Sid Vicious, or what are they calling him in this one? Psycho Sid. Maybe it was Sid Vicious in WCW. Is that? I don't know who that is. Oh, it's not Demolition. Is it the Road Warriors? These guys. I think Demolition had like the Kiss type face paint. These wrestling games back then looked really nice, though. A lot of good animation in the 16-bit era. Paperboy 2, cool game. Obviously, sequel to Paperboy. It's fun. It looks nice. Obviously, the point of Paperboy is you gotta get the papers into the people's mailboxes. So you're riding up the street. You gotta avoid obstacles like cars backing out. The Grim Reaper appears. Dogs will chase you. There's little stuff you gotta hop over and stuff. And then there'll be like guys like moving like window pane and stuff. And at the end of like levels, you get to do the obstacle course. It's a really fun game. It can get tough though. And the last of my Super Nintendo games is Indiana Jones' Greatest Adventures. This is one I didn't have when I was a kid, but it's made by the same people who did the. It says JVC now. There's JVC and I think Ubisoft also published some of these games. Super Star Wars. This might have just been straight JVC, but it has the same kind of graphics and same animations, except this one covers the first 3 Indiana Jones movies. So you're going through Raiders of the Lost Ark, Temple of Doom, and Last Crusade, and you're like going through scenes. You do the thing. It has the similar. It's not a flying mission, but it's when you're on the tube and you fall into the snowy mountains. And Temple of Doom, that's a move, a level you do. And once again, it's really good animation. It's nice. This one's actually probably a little easier than the Super Star Wars, but it could still be tough. This is actually a fun game. I don't know if I did a gameplay on this. I may have. Okay, now I will go into the Super Famicom games. Here I have 8 of them, I believe, or 8 or 9. I don't know. The reason I was picking up Super Famicom games is because you can get them cheaper than the Super Nintendo versions in a lot of cases, not all. But most of them are still playable in English, unless it's an RPG like Final Fantasy and you just can't read all the dialogue. That's tough, but these games like this one, Final Fight 2, you can play it easy enough, and the not the menus, like the people talking in the game will be in Japanese or whatever, but like the on-screen stuff, like how many lives you have and stuff, is in English. But this is a fantastic game. I paid like $15 for this, and it's probably like 40 or 50 for the Super Nintendo version, and it's fun. You use a Hager there. I forget the woman's name, and I don't know if that's. I forget the dude's name too. There might be a 4th playable character as well. I don't think that's Guy. I forget. I don't know. But it's a fun. It's a classic. Beat 'em up. You know. like the Streets of Rage series and Knights of the Round and stuff like that. Double Dragon. This is a good one though. Oh, I believe this is a Bongs game. I believe it's Super Bong. There was 2 Bongs games for the Super Nintendo, or the Super Famicom, I should say. I think only one of them might have come out over here. Obviously, you had the first 2 or 3 Bongs on the TurboGrafx. You can get them on there, but then, you know, they were done, and I guess they started making the games on the Super Nintendo and stuff. But this game's actually really cool. If you know what Bong is, like a caveman. You do all types. This game's crazy. I was like on a plane in the first level. You do all types of crazy stuff in this game. It's actually really cool. And once again, it looks really nice. I think it's Super Bong. I don't know. Tecmo Super Bowl 2 Special Edition. This is another one that I got because the Super Nintendo version's like 50, 60 bucks. This one is completely in English, so it's perfect to get. It's an awesome game. If you play the Tecmo Bowl games, they're fantastic arcade football games. The gameplay is great. You can do seasons. You can trade players in this one. You can simulate full seasons if you want, not even play. It's just really fun. And it collects all your stats and stuff. Just classic games, the Tecmos. I have the 3rd one on the Genesis. I don't have a copy of the 2 Nintendo ones, or Tecmo Super Bowl and Super Nintendo and Genesis as well. This is a Super Dodgeball. I guess the sequel is Super Dodgeball. I don't think came out. This didn't come out on the. There goes the train. This one did not come out over here, I believe. But if you played Super Dodgeball on the NES, it's like that. It's a great game. It's fun. It's fairly fast-paced. It's just dodgeball, and you like whale the guys, and if you like take them out, like their angel goes up to heaven. It's actually kind of funny. I don't know what the actual name is in Japanese, but it is. I think it's just Super Dodgeball. I'll say the best 2 for last. This is Mickey's Magical World, or it's Mickey and maybe Donald's something or other 3. Once again, these Capcom Disney games were great back then on the Genesis and the Super Nintendo. Even the Sega ones. Actually, I think Sega was making them on the Genesis and Capcom was doing them for the Super Nintendo. Either way, they were all really good. This one's fun as well. And once again, looks great. I got this one for pretty cheap too. Donkey Kong Country 2, Super Donkey Kong 2. It's Donkey Kong Country here. This would be Donkey Kong Country 2. This would be Dixie's Double Trouble is 3. Is this Diddy's Revenge, or I don't know. But there goes the train. I'm gonna have to mute that again. Let me see. Maybe not. But Super Donkey Kong 2, once again, another game that's cheaper to get. This is like $8 for this version. Same game, completely playable. If you have a Super Nintendo or a clone console that can play the games, absolutely get it. These are fun. They looked great for the time. They kind of don't look as great now, but they still play very well. And this is a good one. Sorry about that. And the final 2 for first one here is ActRaiser. Same thing. This game is probably like $40 or $50 for the Super Nintendo version. This one was like I got like for like 11 or 12 bucks. And it's a little tough to play at points because there is dialogue that I can't read, but you can still kind of figure out the menus. ActRaiser is a classic. I know they like remade it recently. It was an ActRaiser Renaissance. This is made by Enix. This is before Enix and Squaresoft merged. So these were Enix games. There was a second one that was only a side scroller. This one was the side scrolling and like the SimCity type stuff where you use a little angel and you gotta build houses and stuff and you get to shoot the little bat demons and then you do side scrolling levels. It looks really nice. It's just a really good game with fantastic music. And the gameplay is fun. It's really cool, and it was a nice hybrid of both games, which you didn't really see much of at that time. ActRaiser was a classic. I wonder if anyone's played the remake they did, the Renaissance one. Let me know how it is. And the last game here is Area 88, or UN Squadron in the West. Area 88 over there was like an anime, I believe. Great game. Again, you can play it, it's easy to play. There is dialogue, but it's nothing where you have to worry about stuff. This game's fantastic. It is a shoot-'em-up game. You're a pilot. You can choose between like 3 dudes. This is Mickey Skyman, I believe. The music in this game is also absolutely incredible. The gameplay's fun. It gets real tough towards the end. It's the kind of game where you have to play over and over to get the patterns down. Cool boss fights. You fight like a giant fort base that you can blow up. There's like a submarine, a giant like destroyer ship, a stealth bomber, a big stealth bomber and stuff. A giant tank. Like, it's a really fun game. I would recommend getting this because it's that good if you've never played it. It's just fun gameplay. You can do little bombing missions in between to collect money to bet power-ups and buy better planes and stuff. You can bring like 3 special weapons into each level that you can use and stuff. It's just fantastic. It's a great game. Anyway, let me know how you guys like me doing that collection video in this kind of view. And thanks for checking this out. And have a good day.